Welcome to Breaking the Chains, Repatriation Journeys. I'm Bakita, and I'm here with Stephen and Candace. Would you guys please introduce yourselves?
Well, I am Candace Williams. I have, in my previous life in America, been an executive administrative assistant for 19, 20 years. And then after that, I became a preschool teacher, which is my favorite thing.
Oh,
But yes, so, and I'm a mom, a wife, and just a lover of our people.
yes.
And I'm Stephen. Many know me as Yehoshua here in Ghana. We're both from Maryland. Candace grew up in DC. I grew up in Baltimore, and then we lived in between them in between Baltimore, DC, and Columbia, Maryland.
Mhm.
Um, I have four. We have between us five adult children, ranges from we'll be 25 to 31. Um, we
Wow.
love them dearly. Wish they were here, but we're just being living life to be an example. I was prior to coming to Ghana, I was a behavior specialist for Baltimore City Public Schools, and I'm also by trade a graphic designer and help develop businesses and consulting. And we're here to help do whatever possible to bring liberation to our people and
Abs-
show them that you can have life beyond the borders of America.
Yes. Yes. So tell me, what was it that made the two of y'all decide, you know what? Mm-mm. We moving to Africa, mainly Ghana.
Well, I'll say for me, okay, so first I lived here in Ghana in 2003 for a year
Okay.
in the Cape Coast. I enjoyed it. I loved it. I didn't get to do, excuse me, very much at that time. And unfortunately, I had to go back to the States, and it took me umpteen years to return, 2017, to get back to Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
So at that time, it was just knew somebody who lived here, and they kept speaking about how wonderful it was and that we should come and do it. So we did. I mean, at that time, my thought was, what do I have to lose? There's nothing holding me here. I can sell things and buy new things if I need to. And that's exactly what we did.
And I
Wow.
could say the same thing because we were there at the same time. It was a group of us, about 33 of us, men, women, and children. And we had nothing to lose. We said, hey, something resonated with us when we heard about Ghana and going to the motherland. And it wasn't something that required deep thought. We just said, hey, let's do it. The worst thing that could happen, we have to come back. Lo and
Right.
behold, we did.
That was the worst thing, too.
Yes. And at the time
That's
we were
so
both
hard.
Yes.
at the time we were married to different people, and we were out of touch with each other for about 5 years.
Oh, okay.
And I got a random email, and it happened to be from Candace.
Hmm.
And it's difficult, especially when you know about Ghana or the motherland, and that's where your heart is. And when you're trying to date and someone has no desire for that, because that's going to be a deal breaker somewhere along the line.
Absolutely.
And when we connected, I was like, wow, the first woman that I knew that really desired to be back here. And so, that was our ultimate desire, was to come back here. And interestingly enough, my children had a meeting prior to us coming and said with each other, my son came and told me, he said, they said, Daddy won't be happy until he's back in Africa.
Mm,
Because I felt like I was dying there.
absolutely.
It was not peace. And I would wear African clothing all the time. Even on my interview with Baltimore City Schools, I wore African clothes because I was rebelling against being
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
But we came and we sold a bunch of stuff. We shipped a bunch of stuff and we said, we're gone. We're
Right.
here.
Right. Oh man, that is so like real. Like I never, of course, I never knew. So it's just to hear how so many people just say, you know what, forget this. I'm gonna sell everything that I can. I give away the rest, and I'm out of here. You know, that to me is priceless. Like, and like you said, the whole fact that you had been there before and you lived there before, and it's tough. It's tough to come back to this.
Yes.
So I'm glad y'all actually. A lot of people don't get to go back.
Yeah.
You know, we get so wrapped up in this that we don't get to come back. So like in the time that y'all knew that y'all were going to, y'all decided, okay, we both want to go to Ghana. We're gonna make this move. How did you prepare? Like, okay, between the time that you all decided that, okay, this is something we both want to do, which is so important. I know so many women who are married to men who absolutely refuse to make this move with them, and they're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. You guys decided that you were going to be moving back to Ghana. It was the last time was in 2003, right?
Yes.
So between 2003 and 2017, how did you and what did you do to finally say, okay, we getting on the plane, it's 2017, we out of here?
I'll start. I was working at the school system. I had a life-changing injury, even though we were always talking about preparing to leave. And I think the first thing you have to do is make up in your mind that's what you want to do. And organization is paramount. I don't care if you're shipping a 40-foot container or if you're carrying a backpack.
Absolutely.
You gotta be organized. And I'm grateful that I think I'm married to one of the most organized persons in the world. And that makes a world of a difference because it's a huge endeavor to try to accomplish. And I think that's one of the biggest reasons why a lot of men are reluctant, because men, unfortunately, especially coming from America, we need to feel like we're in control of stuff. And when you can't be in control, you feel less than. And sometimes you have to be willing, man enough to relinquish what you cannot do to somebody that can do. I'm not the most organized. I'm a motivator by nature. I know I'm a deal maker. I can get stuff rolling. But when it comes from behind the scenes organization, that's the queen of organization. And so we made up our mind. We were going to do something. So we were going to make that move. Once my workers' comp case was over, we started selling stuff from Craigslist to different apps out there, and people coming by your house. And then we had to be conveniently inconvenienced by getting out of our spot and moving into a bedroom at her parents' house.
Oh my God, I know that movie.
Sleeping on a rinky-dink sleep sofa, but we had in our mind we were getting the hell out of there. So
exactly.
Hey, so
exactly. That nothing gonna stop you at that point.
Absolutely. And the other big thing before I'll let Candace jump in was we started establishing relationships with people that were here while we were still there. We even created a website to help motivate ourselves and help other people to find consolidated information about the process of repatriation. Because as we were digging, we were saying, listen, let's share this information.
Right.
So we contacted shipping companies and this and that. And we just made it happen like that. Like I said, conveniently being inconvenienced for the purpose of accomplishing a goal.
Yeah. So Candace, what did you do to organize this thing? Like many people, you know the kind of questions we get all the time. How do I move to Africa?
Yeah.
First you need to pick a country, but now that we've chosen a country, chosen Ghana, what was the process in making the move to Ghana?
So the process was to be honest in what we really needed.
Absolutely.
And what we didn't need, and then decide what we wanted. So the thing was for me to separate out piles of things that were to be discarded, trashed, piles of things that were to be sold, piles of things that were to be donated, and piles of things that were to be kept and shipped. And basically, that's really all I did. So it made it just, super easy for me because things were sectioned out. I knew what I was going to do with the trash pile, obviously. I knew I came up with a few places that I could donate things to, like orphanages or foster care families or daycare centers for the children's items that I had. All kinds of people who I knew could benefit from using the things that I had. That was my goal. Always give things away to people who actually can use them. And basically, and now as far as the shipping of the items, I had done shipping to Ghana before, so that really wasn't a big deal. The company pretty much came to get everything that we packed to be shipped, and they delivered it to their warehouse and sent it on its way. We had it delivered to us when we got here in Ghana once it arrived.
Well, even before that, when we moved out of our place, we put our things that we were keeping in a storage container, like easy storage or something like that, self-storage unit. And they came and picked it up from there. So that made a difference.
So basically what you did was you sacrificed a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To get what you wanted.
Absolutely.
And I think that is probably the biggest part that most people don't understand, that to get something that you want, you have to sacrifice the things that you are comfortable with.
Absolutely.
You guys have been there since 2017. How did you find housing when you got there?
Well, when we first arrived, we stayed at, I guess, something that could be maybe considered as a guest house, kind of, for just 3 months. And then we looked with a young man who was a realtor agent, who took us around to different properties that I found online. And then, just going to see them in person, just kind of feel out where we wanted to be and what exactly we wanted in a house. It's a bit difficult to do that when you're not here. Exactly. So you have to be here physically to kind of see everything. Like, you don't know necessarily that what you see online is not going to be totally what you see in person. So
right.
so we had to go, just go through that process and learn what it was that we were going to be comfortable with and what was really a deal breaker for us. Like, I'm not into doing bucket baths. I've done that. I've bathed outside before. I've done it all. And I don't want to live like that on a regular basis.
And you know what, I want to add to that, because you and I spoke about this, or we chatted about this on Facebook a few times. And there's no disrespect to anybody else on what they want.
Absolutely.
We scratched and survived there.
Exactly.
I did not come to Ghana to scratch and survive, because so many people are under the misnomer. Because I remember in the place where we first came, where we first stayed when we got back here, was he said he wanted to show people the real Africa. I'm like, so what's the real Africa?
What does that mean?
Right. Because you can live at whatever level you can afford or whatever you desire.
Right.
But like Candace said, I didn't come back to the land of my ancestors to scratch and survive. Our ancestors did enough of that damn stuff back there.
Thank you. We've done enough.
We came here to thrive. We came here to lift ourselves up and help others lift themselves up.
Exactly.
And so, how are we calling each other king and queen, but we living like a bush bear?
Come on now. Come on.
This doesn't make any sense. And understanding the mindset of our people in the diaspora, they're going to look at that and say, oh, hell no. I ain't leaving that for that.
Right. That is, okay, see, this is why I need to talk to different people so we can get some good understanding of what it looks like. And I don't think our people really understand that Ghana is a class-based system.
Yes.
And from my experience, to get things done and have business and all of these things, part of that is how people perceive you.
Absolutely.
And if they perceive you to be some poor person who can't even afford a decent place to live, they're not gonna take you serious.
Right.
You know?
It's synonymous with in the States when people either call you hood or country.
Exactly.
They'll call you bush here or village.
Exactly.
And again, there's no disrespect to anybody from those places because you can't necessarily help where you come from.
Exactly.
You can help, you can make a difference, or you can chart the path, of course, to where you want to go and where you will ultimately want to be, you know. And like I said, you know, people come into our place, our house, and say, wow, it's decorated nice. And it's not even the way we want it yet.
Right.
Because we don't want to live in filth. You know, we like art. You know, we had a certain quality and standard when we were in the States. Why do we have to get rid of that because I'm back home? Matter of fact, I want it enhanced and better.
Okay, so it's not just me when it feels like people act as if we're supposed to downgrade our living situation because we're moving to Africa.
No,
Okay.
That's like when people think you need to dumb down because you're around certain people. Oh, I can't be articulate because I'm in the hood now.
Right.
I'm gonna still be me. Otherwise, that's being disingenuous as far as I'm concerned. That's
Exactly.
And I will not do that. We're here to help uplift our people.
Exactly. You guys have been there since 2017. So that's what, 3 years now. How has it? One of the hardest things I know for me was being away from my family, and you know, we make a decision. We make a decision that making this move for us is more important than staying here, which means we have to leave behind our family. How have you all dealt with? I know your children are adults, but that doesn't mean anything when it comes to family. So how have you all dealt with the distance, having literally a whole ocean between you and your family?
Well, for me, I use Facebook mostly for keeping in touch with my relatives. I try to make phone calls more so to my mother, my parents, my brother, my daughter, you know, and Facebook pretty much for everybody else. But we try to stay in touch at least a couple times a week.
Yeah.
Being able to see my mother's face, my daughter's face, by the video, we use WhatsApp. So by video call is important to me. It's important to me to see that they're okay, not just hear them on the phone. So before, when we were here, we didn't have that ability in 2003. So that makes it a lot easier now in 2020 to be able to communicate with them eye to eye.
Right. Yeah.
So that's been pretty helpful. Yeah, I mean, it gets difficult at times, you know, sometimes it gets pretty difficult, but like you said, it's a choice that you make to do this, and you know what comes with that. But then I also see it as my family members are not trees that are rooted and cannot be moved. They can travel. Should they want to see me so desperately, they can come and see me and experience something new in the process.
Absolutely.
And for me, it's like the same thing. It gets very difficult because I prided myself on being a father's father, being very involved with my children, and being a family person. I was the oldest of my generation, and always been like the leader in my family.
Okay.
And I have to remind them this is just not about us leaving America, but it's also about us paving the way. But keeping it 100, one of the biggest challenges, especially with family, is the I call it being, what is it, comfortable or familiar. It's almost like they can't hear from you, oh, that's just Steve. Oh, that's just Candace. They will hear the same thing from someone else.
Right.
So they look at it oftentimes and don't see that what we're doing is significant to our collective interest as a people.
Right.
Because, oh, that's just Steve and Candace. And that part is challenging because we'll find other people that not even blood relatives will listen to what we have to say, take heed to what we say, and move on what we say. Absolutely. But our family won't. And that part for me is the hardest part because we long for our family to say, come on, at least see. Exactly. We got family that will go to England, go to France first, but never come here. You know, and
I can relate.
Yeah, but it's just difficult because, you know, our children are young adults, but a lot of the people that we impact are our children's ages. They will listen to and have the utmost respect. Not that our children disrespect us, but is that air of familiarity. And because especially with the current climate that's going on in the States right now, it's difficult. That part right there is difficult.
Yeah. So how do you cope with those difficulties? Because I could totally relate. And how are you all coping with that part of it? I know it's hard.
Staying focused on our mission.
Yeah.
You know, mistake that I was making being here, and I'm speaking to you fellas. If you're married to your soulmate, do things in conjunction with your soulmate. Because a lot of times I'm thinking I'm doing things that will benefit us, but it's not really something that she's into. We're here to complement each other and do something as a body, as a collective. And that makes a world of a difference because since I realized that, and that was brought to my attention, we've been doing things together and it makes a significant difference to stay focused. And we believe, honestly, the hope is what we're making happen for others with the Almighty and the ancestors will move on our family, especially our children and our parents. So we're here, like I said, servicing the needs of other people desiring to repatriate. And as we are helping to empower some of the young adults here, we're hoping that somebody will get into the ears and to the mind of our children.
Yeah, you know, my mother came and stayed with me in Ghana for the first 2 years that we were there. And she enjoyed it, but she has decided that she won't be returning with us permanently when we do return. And that kind of stings because I'm an only child. And it's kind of like, but I need you to come with me. Like, you need to come with me. Why do you want to stay here? What do you have here? Right. And so yeah, that part it can be very difficult. But considering that we don't have family there, how has it been? How have you been developing relationships with either other diasporans or Ghanaians or other African nationals?
Well, for me, I haven't really met any Ghanaian women that are my age per se. I usually meet Ghanaian women that are younger by at least 20 years or so.
Yeah.
So that relationship, you know, we become like sisters, you know, slash mentor kind of thing. And there are a handful of them. But aside from that, my own peer group, Ghanaian wise, I don't have. I can't even say I know how to really find them per
Right.
se. Like, I don't really, they're not like out and about so much.
Right.
It's more family already developed, and that's where they are.
Right.
Whereas, you know, I would be like this outsider intruder kind of thing coming into that. So I don't understand really how I would be able to break through that particular scenario. As far as diasporans, there's a circle of diasporan women who are from America and some from UK as well, who I have good communication with.
Okay.
And for me, I've been making a plea. You probably seen it. Where are the brothers, especially in the diaspora? I have a bunch of younger, Candace said, younger Ghanaian brothers. They look at me as big brother, like a father, uncle, and that is
mates, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I meet some brothers that are of the diaspora, and be honest, some of them are still into that college type life, even though they old. I'm just keeping it real.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's keeping it real.
I left that a long time ago. That's just not what I'm into. Trying to do more things productive. We love having a blast, having a ball,
Right.
going dancing and having some fun. But some of the stuff is just not who I am. But anyway, I just been pleading, say, brothers, where are y'all? And you know what I hear a lot of times from a lot of the brothers? Well, us brothers got responsibilities. And I'm like, so the sisters don't? I'm seeing single brothers come here with their children. Yes, making it happen, leaving jobs, leaving security of whatever they had there. And the brother sitting back home. I mean, we met a sister that said, listen, I'm coming with my husband, come or not come. And so we can't be talking about all this revolution and all this stuff, and you scared to get on a plane to come and chart a new life. And here's another thing. You got brothers and sisters up there talking about they gonna fight the white man and do all this revolutionary stuff. I'd rather spend my energy on building an empire.
So now we're getting into what I really want to talk about. I was trying to break you in a little bit. You know, we have so many people who make these statements about us running, and we need to stay here and fight and all of this stuff. We've had the conversation via Facebook. How do you feel about this whole stay here and fight and we running and we cowards to be running away from this? How you feel?
I think it's a bunch of BS. And I think it's really coward talk because yes, our ancestors built America, responsible for most of the inventions in America, but we didn't build them for us.
Exactly.
We didn't build them for us. Otherwise, why the hell are we still fighting for basic rights